Hello and welcome to Bunnex Investment Group. Today we are going to talk about a strategy that can earn you at least $1,000 every single month. This strategy will earn you big but will shock you on how simple it is. So in this video, I'll review how you can work everything in your favor. Before we jump into the war video, be sure to check out our free signals Telegram channel. The link is right in the description below. If you are new to this channel, hit that subscribe button and smash the notification bell icon. So first things first, patience is the first port of call in this strategy. You will need to stay composed in order to take only pristine trades that I will actually explain in this video. After taking the setups, patience will also be needed to watch them mature. So here's the strategy explanation. This strategy is a swing that can last from 2 to 7 days in trade. It looks for opportunities when position market makers reintroduce funds into the system. You may be probably wondering what all this is. Here's the explanation. Although market makers have access to large sums of capital, the figures are limited. Therefore, they will need to close off their trades and book profits. When they decide to take some position trades again, their point of entry is clear to the trained eye, and it is also our point of interest to enter the market. To simplify the point market makers' entries, we use the H4 time frame as well as a series of exponential moving averages. Here's the strategy definition. The time frame of observation is the H4 time frame. Only 3 indicators are used, and these are the 13, the 50 and the 200 EMA. The pattern to look for is strictly the multi-session W or M in the zone of interest. This multi-session W or M should be in the zone of interest. So basically, what is the multi-session W or multi-session M? It is basically an W that occurs its legs in 2 different sessions. This might be Asian, this might be London, or it might be London and the other one occurring in the US. So this is the only setup that we will be looking for, and our entry will be made after M15 closure below the 13 EMA after the second leg has been issued. So this multi-session M or multi-session W should occur in the zone of interest. To get the zone of interest, these conditions must be met. The first condition is 13 EMA and 50 EMA must have a crossover. The second condition is 50 EMA crossing 200 EMA. Then price should pull back to the 200 EMA and gets rejected. At the 200 EMA, that is our point of interest or our zone of interest, as I said earlier on. So within that zone of interest, that is where we will be looking for multi-session M or multi-session W to make our entry. Here are the strategy parameters. The stop loss for any trade taken with this strategy must be 35 to 50 pips. The take profit must be 150 to 200 pips. But if you have patience, you can actually keep a trade up to 600 or 400 pips. This means to achieve this target, you will need to wait a bit longer than these ones that I have stated. So here are the examples. This is GBP against USD, H4 time frame, and we are going to walk through the conditions that we have laid out before. The blue line or the blue EMA, the light blue EMA is the 50, the red EMA is the 13, then the cream EMA is the 200 or the off-white in color. Those are the only indicators that we'll be using. So from this point, we can see that 50 there was a crossover of 1350 here, which means our first condition was met. We had the 250 crossover here. Our second condition was met. Then what we were now looking for is price to pull back to the 200 EMA and offer us our zone of interest. When price did that, at this point, that is where we were now supposed to look for a multi-session W in order to go long. Entering a trade at this point was definitely going to issue us a rise of approximately plus 650 pips in rise. So from this point, you were going to exit at your own point of choice depending on your target. But as I said, if they are pound pairs, you better take 400 pips against a stop loss of 50 pips. Another example is on USD against the Canadian dollar. Our first condition was met after the 13 and the 50 had crossed. Our second condition was met after the 50 and the 200 crossed. So our last condition was to see price coming back and gets rejected at the 200 EMA, which happened at this point. So within this point, that is where we are calling the zone of interest. Zone of interest, or ZOI. In the zone of interest, we were interested in finding a multi-session M, and we were going to enter after M15 candlestick closure below the 13 EMA after the second leg was issued. I've come across several comments asking me what to do if these conditions, if any of the conditions that I have explained doesn't occur. The most correct answer is whenever any of your conditions is breached, you have to scratch that trade. Do not force yourself or confine yourself on one pair, as we have a lot of pairs within the trading industry. This is order against the dollar, H4 time frame. This one, I left it to show you how it will be happening. The first condition was 13 and 50 cross, and it was actually satisfied. The second condition was 50, 200 cross, and it was actually satisfied. So the next thing is we are now waiting for price to come back here, issue a multi-session M, and boom, we have our take profit at 200 to 300 pips depending on our choice. So this is basically that what we will be looking for. There's no drawing of levels, there's no complex things. It's just waiting for your conditions to be satisfied. And as I say always, for this to work, you need to be patient enough, because if you rush the process, you are definitely going to make entries where there are no setups. So likewise, after getting to know this strategy, you must go back on the charts. You have to back test and to see if you can actually see these things in hindsight. Because if you can see it in hindsight, you cannot see it in foresight. Go back, find at least 18 currency pairs. Look for these setups. Actually look for the conditions on the H4 time frame. You can even print your markups like these ones. First condition met, second condition met. Print off your markups. After printing those markups, you have to see them every day so that the setup imprints in your mind. You can use this strategy alongside other different strategies that you have. You cannot just confine yourself to one strategy, as the market needs someone who is adaptive. So without discipline, you will never be consistent. I always repeat this in all my videos. And without consistency, you will never achieve the goal. So do a lot of meditation and stick to the only trades that we have discussed. Do not give yourself pressure, as the internet is flooded with people who are trading demo accounts and who just show you or review as if trading is a get-rich-quick scheme. In conclusion, follow your plan without deviation, distracting thoughts, or hesitation to act. On that note, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, and check out our free signals Telegram channel. This is the link in red, and it is also in the description below.